Hi McDragons! I am here today to do my May TBR. So May is always my most chaotic month. Every year I normally put up a show in May, and this year is no different. We are doing a middle school show. It is a parody, I would say. It's like loosely based on Percy Jackson and a couple of other things. I'm really excited for it. I have been involved in arts since I was little, so having my kids put up a show always makes me smile. But I really do need a readathon to keep me reading, and I know that May and June are my two craziest readathon months because I do Escape back to back. What amazing. So I'm going to do my TBR game a little bit differently. My TBR game will be back in full swing in July because I have a lot more time off and I want to kick this reading slump. So this TBR is going to be in two parts. I'm going to do my TBR chance cards. I'm going to roll a 6-sided dice, see how many that we're going to have, and then we're going to do the readathon part where I just roll a 6-sided dice, see how many books I'm going to put on my TBR, and the rest of the prompts that, like, I'll explain Escape in a second, the rest of the books, I'm just going to have random books on my TBR. They can be the same as the books for the cards, but we'll get there. Basically, I'm going to try to put books on my TBR and basically have a book for every prompt that is currently known for Escape and put some books back on my TBR card because I did not read all my books in April, but we knew that was going to happen. Okay, so let me roll a 6-sided dice and see how many cards I'm going to pick. Okay, not that bad. We have to pick 3 cards. So let's pick the first card. Ooh, I have to read a YA fantasy book. Okay. I also have a little bit of knowledge about Amazing, so I'm trying to not do books that will work for that as well. So let me go find a YA fantasy book that I am interested. I have a ton, so let's go find one. Clip. I lost my clip where I chose Wings of Starlight by Allison Saft for my YA fantasy book because it's a very, very quick romantasy, but it's also a book that I do need to read before I go to Comic-Con or before I go to ALA. So it's a quick one. It's a romantasy. It's a YA fantasy, and it's an arc. So all these reasons why I picked it, but mostly because it's rather short. So yeah. The problem sometimes with a competitive readathon is the prompts change so quickly. So I have a ton of books on my TBR, but they are a bit massive. So I think I'm going to put up Behooved by M. Stevenson on my TBR because it's a little bit shorter and it is a cozy book, which is sort of what I'm in the mood for. So I'm going to add this one. This one is Lady Jane Meets Legends and Lattes, featuring a duty-bound nobleman with a chronic illness and a prince who'd rather be in a library than on a throne, and a magical ride through a world of cozy enchantment. Yeah, this sounds like great. And it's not as long as The Phoenix Keeper, which is like 400 pages. So I think I'm going to put this one on my TBR for that. And again, these are hopefully going to work back to room prompts, but we'll get there. Or like other prompts. Okay. So, ooh, continue a series you are unsure about. This is my last one for this one. Okay, I have some options. Okay, let me go see what is calling my name. So I think I'm actually going to toss an audiobook on here. I want to read The Lost Heir, Wings of Fire by Tuti A. Sutherland. This is a middle grade series I started about a year ago, and I just never got around to reading it. And I want to see if this book series is worth it for me. I didn't listen to the audiobook for book 1. So yeah, these are the 3 books that now I need to fit on my Escape TBR. So the way that Escape works is you have prompts that you know of, which are basically like prompts to get into the game. So those prompts, I know going ahead. So I guess the goal would be to find what these books are going to work for, like when I'm going to read them, and then also find books for the other prompts. So yeah, give me a moment. Let me go figure out what I'm doing, and then I'll come back when I'm ready to roll for the other prompts. Okay. So the next section you're going to see is like the readathon focus. So how Escape works is it's basically like we're trapped on a cruise ship. I'm Team Podcasters, and we are going to try to unlock games on this cruise ship. But to unlock the game or the room, you have to read a certain prompt. So the main, like, we start out, I think, with like 6 prompts. how many 6? Dining Room is a book that matches your current outfit, which I'm going to have to do whenever we decide to unlock that game. I don't think that's the first game. I'm just going to have to play that by year. But a genre blend is The Bar. Theater is a popcorn read. Pool is double letters in the title. Arcade is an underrated book. And A Gym and Spa is a book you've been putting off. So, this would definitely work for Gym and Spa, The Lost Era, because I have been putting off this series because I have been unsure about it. A genre blend would be Wings of Starlight, because this is like a romantasy. And a double letters in the title is Behooved, because it is this. So these books will work automatically, which is great. I had a feeling they would. And then the game prompts, we just don't know. But I want to roll to see how many books I have to put on my TBR, because literally it could be a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, perfect. Okay. So 6. We'll see how many I have to do. Oh, I have to put 5 on my TBR. 5 additional books on my TBR. Which is good because, you know, in addition to these, I'm going to be reading more. It just depends on how long the games are. And, like, basically you have to keep reading for that prompt. Basically, that's kind of how it's going to work. So I have to put 5 of them on my TBR. So I'm going to do one for every one, an additional one, except for Dining Room, the one that matches my outfit, because I have to do that like in the moment. I can't like pre-plan that. I guess I could do like what I'm wearing now, but I'm just going to do that one in the moment for the moment. So I need another genre blend book. Okay. And I honestly am reading shorter things this month because I just don't have the attention span to read long things. So I need to find a short genre blend book. All right, let's go find one. So I think the genre blend book that I'm going to put on my TBR immediately is going to be It Waits in the Forest by Sarah Doss. This is a book from the Rick Riordan Presents series, and it's a supernatural thriller which deals with Caribbean mythology. I have no idea what this book's about, but this cover screams spring, and I really do want to read it. And it's quick, so that is the plan. Okay, perfect. Sorry, you're going to hear my puppy chewing her bone in the backyard. Okay, I need to read a popcorn read, which for me is probably going to be an audiobook. So I think I'm just going to stick on here Happy Place by Emily Henry. I will attach a photo here. So I'm going to restart that. I have to read a popcorn read, and I think I'm going to put 2 on here. One I'm going to put on is Happy Place by Emily Henry, because that is a book that I've wanted to read and I haven't got around to yet. So I'm going to add that, and I'm also going to add, because I've been trying to read a nonfiction book every month, and if I get to the popcorn read, I can read it pretty quickly. Or I'll just count it early in the month, which is what I normally do. I'm going to put on the Sherry Frankie, The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie, and I will attach both of those photos here. So those will be my 2 books for that, a popcorn read. And then I need to read a book that has double letters in the title. So I think I'm just going to see if there's any on my like tentative TBR that would fit that. And then I will come back and we will chat. So for these, I actually do have a couple of options. I think I'm going to put back A Court of Thorns and Roses on here. There is a lot of O's in this, so I'm going to put this back on here. This was the audiobook I was in the middle of reading, and I got a little bit distracted. Also, a couple of short things that do fit for the prompt. The Legend of White Snake does fulfill the prompt, and it's short, and it's just a quickie. And this Soul for Shadows is a mythology-inspired romantasy where the Vampire Diaries meets Atlas 6 meets Stranger Things. So I think I'm going to put these 3 back on my TBR for that prompt. And they're going to be prompts that I'm not going to know. But I know myself in May. I need to feel like I've accomplished something. So that is what I'm going to put. I think I'm going to put A Court of Thorns and Roses on my actual TBR.
What happened?
She got in trouble. So, sorry.
What happened?
My dog got into trouble. Don't mind her. She's in her cage. Sorry. She's got in trouble. Court of Thorns. Okay, and I'm also going to add Legend of the White Snake. Okay. And then I'm also going to add one more. Let's see what the last prompt. A book that I've been putting off. Okay, that should actually be easy. So I'm going to go find one for that. And then I'm just going to kind of flush out my cart with the rest of the books that I'm just going to toss on here. Again, I'm really focusing on short things, not because I like want to read short things, it's just because I know that my focus in May is going to be a bit swamped and I don't know if I can handle long things. So let me go get a book that I've been putting off. So I'm just also going to toss on 2 books for that book that I've been putting off. The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd-Jones. I actually had in my Pango pile, but I recently read the Wild Huntress and did enjoy it, so I want to give this book a shot. And I also want to read A Dance of the Starlit Sea by Kiana Crystal. This cover is stunning, and I just have not got around to it. So yeah, I'm going to add these on my TBR. And now we're going to get through the books that like technically are still on my TBR. They're just longer, and I don't know how realistic it's going to be to read these in the month of May, but I'm going to toss them on here because I know there will be prompts that I don't know of off the top of my head, and I'm not quite sure like how that's going to flesh out. So yeah, let's go get those. Oh, here are just the shorter books that were on my TBR cart that I want to kind of keep here. And again, like, stuff could change. I want to read Where Shadows Meet still on here because I think it is a vampire-ish story, and I did have an arc of it, so I think I'm going to keep this one on my TBR for the moment. I also am going to keep the audiobook of Under the Surface because it's a quick one. It is a book that I've been putting off as well. Last Dragon of Mars is a book that has 2 or more A's. It also has 2 O's, so this could work for that. Zodiac Rising is another YA fantasy that I've been putting off. This one is a bit more chunky. An Heir Comes to Rise is another book that's a bit more chunky. Cast in Firelight, I really do need to read. And then Signed, Sealed, Dead is a book that is on my audio TBR. So yeah, these are going to be the books that I'm going to put on my front of my TBR cart. They could fit for a lot of prompts, and again, we don't know a lot of the prompts either. So let me go get the other bigger books that I don't think I'm going to read in May, but we're just going to keep them on the cart. And these are the chunky books that I may get around to. I have The Invocators by Crystal Sutherland, which I started. I got 52 pages in and I wasn't feeling it. I have The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, which is a series that I've been putting off because I've been hearing some bad reviews. Gifted and Talented is a book that I am clearly unsure about because it's not really my genre, but I have such a pretty edition that I'm really, really tempted. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil has some bees, so I could count it for that prompt. It also has vampires, so maybe I'll do a vampire reading vlog. And also The Phoenix Keeper is a book that I've been putting off because it's so big, but it's a cozy fantasy that I am intrigued by. So yeah, that is my tentative May TBR. Now, I have had, last year, I read a lot. My first year, I read like nothing, but I will say Escape will keep me reading. I don't tend to talk about my audiobooks on these, but that's probably what's going to be a lot of this, especially leading up to my show because I just will have like more time. But yeah, I'm really excited for May. May's like will be fun. Once the show is like put together and we have like a show, I feel a lot better. We're not there yet. But yeah, I'm excited for Team Podcasters. I'm excited for the sprints. I'm excited for the chaos. And I hope you guys are participating in Escape as well. And if you're not participating in Escape, tell me one book you hope to read in the month of May. I would love to know.